Hello, I am the exposed Endo, and I am going to be doing a spoiler-free review on the second FNaF movie. This is just providing my general thoughts as I've seen this movie twice now, and I just wanted to go over how I think if your experience would be going to watch it as like a fan or going to watch it as someone who doesn't know much about FNaF. So, I'd like to start with if you know a lot about FNaF, you're gonna have a great time with this movie. I'll just say it. You're probably gonna have a great time, especially if you go in theaters. Like, if you manage to get a theater that's full of other FNaF fans, it's an insane experience. It's almost better than the experience for the first FNaF movie for me, honestly, in theater. Um, but okay, if you care a lot about how certain characters are characterized in your head and stand by how you think that they're meant to be characterized, um, there are certain things in this movie I think you're gonna dislike. With characterization from the games. It's not miserable, but for some people, there's especially a particular character that I think people will and have already gotten a bit upset about. For those who really care about like characterization matching the very little things we know of them in the games. So, fair warning about that. Otherwise, I would like to say, as a average moviegoer, like if you were just going to this movie, if you haven't seen the first one anytime recently, you're gonna be damn confused. That even goes for if you saw it recently. This movie throws you into the deep end of the FNAF universe compared to the first movie, in a way that I think that general audiences might not be able to catch up because it goes very once the film goes, it goes, it really starts going. So yeah, I feel like the film's pacing is a bit too quick for general audiences, or well, a majority of general audiences. There are gonna be some people out here, even some people I know that aren't big fans of FNAF, that I think would genuinely enjoy this movie, just because they're a bit more of the they pick up on more details, stuff like that. If you're someone who could possibly be prone to missing details or stuff like that, this is for sure not the movie I'd recommend going to, because there's a few things that if you like even miss barely, you're not gonna understand like major context for like things that happen, and you're gonna be so lost. Another thing I'd like to say is the ending in this movie is extraordinarily abrupt. So be ready for that. Now, I'm not saying like count on like, oh, this is going to be the ending, or though this is going to be the ending, like, oh, it's going to suddenly end here. I'm just warning you, it's an extraordinarily abrupt ending, and personally, I feel like they should have just lumped in the post-credits scene instead of being a post-credits scene. It's like after the scene where they literally cut it off, because it would have made it a lot less weirder. I'm gonna be like completely honest. It would have made it so much less weird how the ending happened if they just included that post credit scene instead of being in the credits, like just after that, right after that scene, and then go to the credits. Like it would have been so much better for the flow of the movie. Um, and uh, on the subject of post credits, for anyone who hasn't gone to see the movie yet, when you watch it, do not leave until the reel stops spinning. Genuinely, because like there's a mid credit scene, and then there's something else at the end of the credits, which also helps set up the third movie. So yeah, just stay for that. Apart from that, the entire second half of the film is basically just sort of set up for the third movie. They do a lot of things that just sort of like, hint at the third movie, stuff like that. The second half of the film is probably the iffiest for the most people, because it's like, I'm not gonna. I'm trying my hardest not to spoil anything. Don't expect to be spoiled. Um, but the second half of the film is like the iffiest for most people, just because it sort of I wouldn't say loses sight on what they're going for. It definitely doesn't. Like the goal's still there. It's just like it feels thrown together. If it doesn't feel properly put together, maybe it's because like all the scenes happen like right after one another and it's all moving so quick. Maybe that's kind of what I think happened, but it just feels like it moves really quickly at the end to at the second half to like where it's both confusing and just it also probably contributes to how abrupt the ending is. And I get it with the ending. They want to set up the third movie, but there was probably a lot, as I already explained before. There was a much better way to do that. But besides for that, obviously, the first half of this movie, I think it's almost perfect. It's genuinely a fantastic first half, and uh, aside from that, pros of this movie, it's for sure a lot scarier. It's a much scarier movie, and I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but they do a good job of trying to scare you. There's like one or two like kills I think that are like a little I want to say cringy, but just I don't know, something like that. Um, but I mean, besides for those, you know, it does genuinely try hard to get a bit more scares out of people. And that's pretty cool. That's nice. That's nice to see as a fan of the games and as a moviegoer in general. Just like it's not just trying to be a fake horror movie, you know. um. Uh, as for some cons, things I mentioned earlier, the way it ended, the second half of the movie being a bit wonky, feeling rushed, all that. Um, Cons, yeah. So I feel like they could have utilized the pizzeria itself more. There's a lot outside the pizzeria in this movie, and obviously I do still use the pizzeria a good amount. I just feel like it deserved a lot more screen time, especially the withered animatronics. I'm not going to spoil what happens with them, but they really do not get the screen time that those guys deserved because they're truly works of art what Jim Henson pulled off with those animatronics, and they just get so underutilized. It's really sad. And aside for that, beyond the wait, okay, before I go to that, I'm just trying to think of any other cons. I don't think there's anything else major for me. The acting's better. That's a pro, but the acting's better. There are some areas where the acting's weird. I think with Abby, there's like one scene where it's a little strange, but besides for that, the acting's better. And I find it really cool how they used the toy animatronics. I know. I find it really cool they use the toy animatronics. I feel like they could have. To a point where I feel like they could have done less with them. Honestly, there was there's such an imbalance of toy animatronic versus the, in my opinion, cooler withered animatronic action in this movie. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Um, but yeah, in the theater, this movie, for if when you go to the theater for it, this movie will give you a lot of good laughs. There's some good funny moments in this movie. There's also some, but yeah, expect to be scared still, obviously. But it's almost a funnier movie than it is scary. I don't know. As for if this is an improvement over the first one, yes, yeah, it is. It's much better. All around, it's a better movie than the first movie. Yes. Um, but uh, aside for that, I think generally this movie is a fun movie. It's enjoyable. I can see there's gonna be a good amount of people out there who also really hate it. Just by the way it's done, the way it's, because like I can see how the ending for some people will ruin the entire movie for them. That's like how extreme it is for some people. It depends on how much the ending of the movie makes the movie for you. But for some people, it genuinely ruined it for them from the sounds of it, which makes it sad. Makes me kind of sad, but whatever. Yeah, I cannot reiterate this enough. Stay until the reel stops, please. So there's a lot to be learned from what's after the movie. So, yeah. Yeah. Be on the lookout for lots of Easter eggs. They're everywhere in this movie. In the really cool, by the way, the really sick intro. There's a lot on their own. Um, and just throughout the movie, there's one Easter egg. There's one Easter egg. I'll tell you, it's like a blink and you miss it moment. So just be ready for that, I guess. It's around the middle of the movie, so just be ready for it around then. um, Besides for that, I'm not gonna go into depth on how this is done because I don't want to spoil it. But I would like to say, Mike does actually get to do some FNaF gameplay for once compared to the first movie. I think he only probably watched cameras in the first movie for like 30 seconds. There wasn't much true FNaF gameplay there. But yeah, in the second movie, they figure out a good way to make it so that Mike actually has a somewhat of a night shift experience. A FNaF 2 experience, which is really cool. Really sick. And I appreciate that they did that. And that was one of the best parts in the movie. So yeah, that's cool all around. Besides for that, as for how I'd rate the film, as a FNaF fan, I give it an 8 out of 10. As an average movie fan, like if you were just going as a normal movie watcher, this can range from anywhere out of from a 3 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10. Sadly, I wish that they tried to appeal to general audiences more with this movie, but it sounds like they just kind of decided like they're just gonna go for it all in for the fans, which I mean, judging by the box office so far, is absolutely paying off. But yeah, that's just, I mean, seems to be paying off. But yeah, that's just how it is right now. But yeah, there you go. That's basically everything I had to say on the movie. If you're someone watching this who's about to go see it, or a FNaF fan and considering going to see it, I'm just gonna tell you, it's worth watching, especially in theaters. In theaters, it is a very worthy experience in theaters. So, yeah, and if you're just someone looking for a horror movie to watch in theaters, I think you'll have fun with it too. I think you'll have fun with it. Now, obviously, if you prefer being in a more quiet setting, do not go to theaters, at least within like the first opening week, or well, throughout the opening weekend. Yeah, do not go see it in theaters if you prefer a quiet movie experience. I would wait until generally Wednesday, like the Wednesday after the movie releases, to go, because there's going to be many fans of the games just seeing it throughout these first few opening days. That'll probably make the theater a very loud experience if you're and if you're not into that sort of experience, then yeah, just wait. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Thanks for watching, and yeah.